My name is Bertrand John. I've been a farmer for the last 30 plus years. Um, I am from River Sallee originally, now reside in Battle.
Why did you decide to become a farmer?
A born farmer. My daddy and mom used to have lands outside the garden. The school that I went to River Sallee had a little school garden. Went to McDonald College, they had little garden, school garden. It's not like I decided to become a farmer. I'm always, since I was a kid growing up, I was a farmer.
Did that influence your decision to actually pursue studies in agriculture as well?
I like farming, so I thought if you want to do it properly, you would have to do formal training. So, hence the reason.
And tell us where you
I
got your
studied in Jamaica, I studied in the US, several other places, SGU,
What areas?
agriculture, economics, business management.
What are some of your major crops?
Some of my major crops are bananas, plantains, soursop, watermelons, pawpaw. Those are the things that we do on a large scale. Cantaloupes. There's a market base for them, you know. We tried a lot of crops before. Pineapple, we used to do this on a very large scale. Other crops like tomatoes, lettuce and those kind of things. We realized that if somebody just grow like 1 acre tomatoes, they probably can flood the entire domestic market. So it doesn't make sense to get into that on any large scale. The crops that we actually grow, we grow them on a large scale.
What are your major markets?
The supermarket, SGU, main, source of income, marketing board, other higglers, vendors.
What are some of your best techniques in terms of farming?
I think what a lot of people don't understand is that crops require nutrients and water every day, plus sunlight, in order to manufacture food. And a lot of people seem to think that those things exist in the soil in very large quantities, which is not the case. So I think the basic method that I use in relation to crop production that would sort of stand out is that I give the plants very, 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 very small bit of fertilizer, just what is required every day. Just like you require food and stuff to grow every day and to live, so plants require the same thing.
And which crop is your favorite?
Favorite crop? Don't have a favorite crop. I don't harvest stuff. I don't like picking stuff. So I don't have a favorite crop. I just like growing this stuff. I just like producing this stuff.
Okay.
I don't like harvesting and selling.
How much land do you work with?
I work with about 30 acres now, cultivated. I have 8 permanent employees. We hire temporary labor from time to time. All farmers challenge money and market. If you notice, with the advent of COVID, there are a lot of people who cultivating vegetables and stuff like that. And the market base is that small that you tend to have a problem with regard to distribution and marketing of a lot of the things. I'm kind of glad because you sell it a little cheaper, but you remember there is a cost to producing the thing. Our market base has been eroded somewhat with the closure of SGU. The distribution and sales of vegetable down in the south of the island, which is our main base, kind of diminish. You have a lot of people unemployed, and some people were not being paid, some of the daily paid people. So the spending power was, is still limited in some cases. The whole economy is affected by this, not just in Grenada but worldwide. So everybody needs to adapt and adjust. So in terms of changing things around, um, or how it changed my life around, is that one has to quickly understand that it needs to adopt and adjust because the time has changed. We are not living in the same time that we were living in, 6, 8 months ago. And the world is a dynamic place. So if the world is changing and you is part of the world and you don't want to change, then kind of good luck, you know. So you have to adopt and adjust. The money may not come in as quickly as it used to come in before. People may not have the money to spend on certain things. The whole world has changed, and we have to look at it from that aspect. A lot of people who had bits of lands around the house and were not paying attention actually got a chance to, go in and get something done, which was really great. And you can see the effect now in terms of the quantity of food that we have selling, vegetables and stuff all along the way, which is very good, and it should be so, like that all the time. We haven't been doing anything differently. We are just trying to sell our stuff a lot cheaper now, so people don't, like our bananas, we get into the supermarket. We have a ripening room down St. George's, so we ripe our bananas. We were selling probably $2 per pound. And we go to the supermarkets, our main, buyers and stuff, and we say, hang on, let's sell this at 50 cents less. We're going to take out 50 cents on our end, and you take out 50 cents on your end. So, people can get it a lot, cheaper. They're able to consume a bit more because, when things normalize, we rearrange things again, I feel happy, as I always does, with regard to the production of food. We need to grow our own stuff and eat it. This should be elementary, and it should be taught right from the school, way up. You understand? In that way, chances are food importation bill will probably go down. We'll have more money internally to spend, and people are going to be healthier. So what more can you ask for?
And what's your working day like?
We have no specific time for working. Over the years, we established that relationship with our workers that we can come out anytime. However, generally, we tend to come out early in the morning and get out before, like mid of the day. And if we have to do something, then we get back around at the evening and get it done. Because we realize that the sun, with global warming and those kind of things, it shines with a different intensity now. It's very hot outside. And if you leave your workers in this for the whole day, every day, you're asking for trouble. They will eventually get sick. And if you want them for a long period, you need to look after them. So we tend to, choose the early morning, when the sun is not so hot, and we get the work done.
And have people shown appreciation to the fact that, you were working during the crisis?
I think so. I think people realize that certain aspect of our society had to be functioning. People who have to, tend to animals, people who have to do crops, and the government did very, very well in that area with regard to how they structured things, and they were recognized internationally for that. I think the public understood what was happening, and they appreciated everything that the government did. And, with how they structured it with regard to farmers able to go to the lands and, produce while some people are home, trying to make sure that everything stay intact. This is the way to go. So people in our country, they, people of the notion that only bad things we do support, and, if it's something bad, we that's not the case. There are a lot of people who are sensible and would support good things and understand things that make sense and would, gravitate towards it, And you need not ask that about my people or the majority of my people. They understood what was taking place. They, support it all. We come on the farm, they support us many times. They would ask if you have bananas, could you pass around and deliver some? So, we would fill up the back of the van and go around and give the people so they can have bananas and those kind of things, because they can come out and those things. I think what is happening, I think a lot of people are indulging and getting involved in our agriculture, and this is very, very good, and we should commend that. Like now, we have an overproduction of watermelon. Everybody seems to have, and everybody trying to sell for the same person. Well, it don't really work that way. We should basically stagger our planting, or have agriculture zone in such a way that this area can produce Watermelon. Watermelon after it's good or mature within 2-3 days you have to use it, otherwise it start going. So is other crops. So why aren't we getting involved in crops that can be processed and the value can be added and those kind of things, so we don't have to worry about much losses and those kind of things. For example, say something like pepper sauce or those kind of things. Why can't we preserve or invest in some dryer? Watermelon can be dried, and really it is really sweet when it's dried. You can dry it and eat it. You just take out all the water, so when you eat it, it's twice as sweet than when you eat into the water, So, why couldn't we invest in those things? Check the quantity of heat that we have in now. We can have some, solar system to dry this thing. So why aren't we involving in those? 'Cause that's what I'm talking about. Those are the areas I think we in regard to agriculture, that we need to sort of focus our attention. This is the area I want us to look into. If you notice, we can produce this stuff, The problem we have is disposing and marketing.
And how do you think that things can change with the sector in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think people are doing well. I think the country is doing well. I think people are, basically in line with what is needed. As I told you before, we just need to structure this thing properly. I think Minister Bain is doing a good job. She heart is into this thing. Structure it properly. Our nutmegs, our cocoa, our soursop. Why can't we process those things? Why can't we, add value? Why can't we hold our thing close to our chest and, demand what we really want for, If you're selling primary produce, you can determine price, That's elementary economics, People give you what they want for it. We need to take a collective approach with regard to dealing with that. If you notice, we're sending all our, students and become doctors and other, technocrats, and that's very good. But how much we sending abroad and train in, say, agro-processing and engineering and, food processing, those kind of things. How much of them that we sending abroad and do those things? You understand what I'm saying? Those are the areas that we need to focus on now, as a people, as a nation, so we can channel all our crops in a direction that you're sure that when you're producing it, you don't have to cut your head. You can spend more time thinking about producing it rather than selling it. It's difficult to do both,
Where would you like to see yourself in the next 5 years as a farmer?
As a farmer, the next 5 years. As you notice, we are trying to create a model. When we started farming right here, used to live in this little house there, and we only had like one garden hose and a sprinkler, and we used to move it all about here, there, everywhere to try to irrigate and those kind of things. And we sort of take it from there and grow it. Now we have the total farm irrigated and with fertigators and tanks and whatever. Want to kind of set up this as a model, more or less something educational for young folks, so they can see that there are money to be made from farming. Just that. That's what I want to see myself in the next 5 years. I'm not thinking about the success and the monetary aspect of things. That's not what I'm after.